Hi, my name is Stephen Perkins, and in this short and controversial video, I will reveal the disturbing truth about one of the world's most brilliant inventors of all history, and the shocking evidence that this man of mystery did father a child, his last apprentice, that knew all his secrets and secretly continued his work. I will reveal for the first time the video demonstration of how this young man managed to crack the code and ultimately master his father's invention. A device that can help you slash your electric bill almost overnight. I don't know how much longer I'll have this free presentation online. So if you stick around until the end of this short presentation, I will reveal how you, like the other 37,311 people, with the aid of a very simple device, can save up to 67% or more on your power bill every month, and can pay as less as $20 instead of $100 or $50. Instead of $250 on your monthly electricity bills for the rest of your life. Before revealing you what this is all about, allow me a few moments to tell you the story behind this incredible discovery and how it all started. You probably heard of history's biggest electrical genius, his inventions, and his life work. Beyond a doubt, he was the greatest mind of the 20th century, even greater than Albert Einstein. Your way of life today, the technology you take for granted, is all possible because of this one incredible man from Europe. What you might not realize is that coming up with all these amazing inventions that changed the world came with a price. He sacrificed his private life to provide the entire world with freedom. He was never known to have had a child, marry, or have relations. And worst of all, he died unhappy, lonely, and poor. Or so the story goes. Honestly, what I'm about to reveal to you today will totally shock you, and in a few minutes from now, you'll be furious that you ever gave a single thin dime to those corporate fat cats. Recent leaked evidence reveals that the super genius did have a son, a brilliant engineer who secretly worked side by side with him until his death in 1943. Arthur Matthews was born in England, and his alleged father was the laboratory assistant of the noted physicist Lord Kelvin, back in the 1890s. The notorious inventor once came over to England to meet Kelvin and convince him that alternating current was more efficient than direct current. And on this visit he also met Mr. Matthews, father and son. Arthur Matthews was at that time just a boy. Yet the remarkable scientist somehow took such an interest in this boy that when he was just 16 he took him as his apprentice and taught him everything he knew about electrical engineering. Matthews was the last man who worked hand in hand with the mad scientist, and in return for his unconditional loyalty, the young apprentice got to discover all the super genius's secrets. Yet you may ask, if Arthur was indeed the son of one of the world's most brilliant minds, why the secrecy? Why a secret son set up in a rural area of Canada? Well, think it over, and you'll realize that if people knew that inventor of the particle beam weapon or death ray had a son, things could have turned really ugly for him. Just like it happened with the son of the famous Charles Lindbergh. After his father's death in 1943, curiosity seekers to government agents have made the trek to Canada to tap Mr. Matthews for information. They would ask, how do you build the magnifying transmitter? Arthur would always say that the answers are in my mentor's patents, lectures, and articles, and that he hung up his hat the moment his master died. Yet little did anyone know that the mad scientist gave his son a very important final mission, his life's dream, the ultimate achievement, something he never got to finish and perfect, to develop a small, simple device that would cost under $500 and that people could use to get clean, cheap electricity forever and give it to the people only at the right time. And that's exactly what he did. Over the years, he managed to crack the code in his father's blueprints and successfully build a machine from his mentor's 1893 patent and was successful in transporting power from the cellar of his home on St. Joachim Street, 1.3 miles away, to the Cove Fields. He was able to transmit sufficient power to light lamps on the Cove Fields and used only the earth and no wires. Later, he was able to transmit power to more than 3 miles away at the Layville Hills, finally proving the concept was sound. He secretly continued his father's work for more than 40 years and closely documented everything and even proved that it can be done by anyone. Building a device that would not only capture the immense energy that had never been tapped before, but also turn it into clean, green electricity that anyone could use to power up their homes. As Matthews said, the energy is already in the earth, waiting for something to move it. Electricity, high or low frequency, is always present, the earth being a vastly superior conductor. The truth is, the right time never came, and Matthews died 1986. He didn't have the chance to reveal his life work to the public. For more than 20 years it seemed like this was the end of green, cheap energy. Arthur's lifelong dream was buried and nearly forgotten. Well, years ago, my father ended up buying an evicted house near Quebec City, and after moving in, he accidentally found a strange-looking book, among other things. He gave it to me a while back, but I completely forgot about it until recently. This book turns out to be Arthur H. Matthews' notebook, or invention book, as I like to call it. Matthews' diagrams made little sense. I skimmed them over, but having no engineering experience, nothing caught my eye. I had no idea if they had any value or if anyone will ever be interested to look at them. I decided to keep them in an old box for no reason, till one day when my buddy James came to visit. We were all having dinner, and I was kind of complaining to him about the high power bills and how they kept piling up, not having enough between my mortgage, bills, day-to-day expenses, and schooling tuitions, when all of a sudden the lights went off. Everybody thought, another blackout. James and I went into the basement to look for the flashlights, and we found the box with the notebook. Being a DIY enthusiast and having some experience in engineering, James browsed through the blueprints and suddenly was in awe. He asked me if I knew what that was. "Oh, some junk I kept for no reason," I replied. It turns out Matthews was right. The science is not only solid, it's even more practical than it seemed 70 years ago. And for the first time in human history, ordinary folks can finally power up anything they need with renewable electricity while investing a fraction of what the inventor ever thought was possible. This device is so small and versatile, there's almost no limit to how you can use it. Use it to fuel any electrical devices, from small clocks to refrigerators or big-screen plasma TVs. Power up remote cabins so high up in the mountains you'd be crazy to even think about going solar. Take it with you when you go camping and enjoy mobile, clean electricity for your caravan or in your tent. And live a better life with more money in your pockets with a high-output generator you can build in your spare time. Yet the invention was not meant for DIYers. Simple as it was still pretty difficult to build for the average guy. And even though you can find some blueprints on a few websites, you'll discover that without the proper instructions, they're pretty useless. I'm going to show you everything in a minute. But before this, let me share with you what's so magic about this device. First, you may ask, what is the spring that drives it all? All this energy emanates from one single center, one single source. Imagine the sun, a ball of electricity, positively charged with a massive potential of over 200 billion volts. About 100 million miles away in the solar system, the Earth is charged with negative electricity, acting like a huge sponge that creates a virtual expressway for almost 48.115 megawatt-hours of electrical energy. Now, get this. Before Matthews, it was impossible to use even a small fraction of this almost infinite source. That's because most of this energy bounces off the Earth's ionosphere and is lost forever into space. But with his device and a few simple 21st century adjustments, you too can grab a slice of this unlimited resource that doesn't cost any money, doesn't pollute, and will ameliorate your electricity bill forever. And in the next few moments, you're going to see just how easy it is to build it yourself. But here's the even better news. Many of the materials contained in the original plans used to cost a small fortune when the device was designed. It took James and I almost a year to get our design ready. But eventually we found an unbelievably easy way to do it that costs 4 times less than what I was hoping for. We finally had the perfect layout. In fact, the new blueprints are so simple that you don't have to be an electrician. Heck, a 12-year-old could build a small generator during a lunch break. Just imagine having all your electrical appliances powered by alternative energy. No more paying through the nose on electricity, just to make the fat cats even fatter. Turn on the AC as often as you want, without having to constantly hear that nagging voice inside your head telling you that you need to turn it off because you'll end up paying a fortune. You might want to take notes because this will be short and intense. Here's a short video of the device in action. Keep in mind, this is the smallest scale you can build the breakthrough device that generates energy on demand. With larger scale devices, the results are impressive. So we went back to the drawing board and spent months writing a detailed manual, not to mention testing everything to make sure anyone could build it in simple steps. And, after a truckload of work, the Ultimate Energizer Guide was born. And when you'll have the Ultimate Energizer installed in your home, you'll instantly be able to get instant savings of 50%, 67%, or more without spending months in trying to build solar panels, wind turbines, and paying thousands of dollars. You'll enjoy even greater savings once you discover the 3 essential tweaks you can make in less than 20 minutes that will maximize your power output by almost 200%. You'll be able to power up any kind of household appliances, from lamps and toasters to electricity hogs like refrigerators and AC units. You'll feel the peace of mind that comes from knowing that, should anything happen, from a mere broken power line to a nationwide blackout or worse, your family won't be at the mercy of others. What's more, because the Ultimate Energizer is very light and portable, it makes for one of the best emergency generators you could ever hope for. Unlike solar panels, it won't get blown off the roof by strong winds and hurricanes. And unlike conventional portable generators, there are no fumes, and you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on fuel. In fact, there's very little to spend at all. Except from a simple maintenance check every few months, the generator is basically set and forget. And because the low-friction design makes it so silent, you won't even hear it running. So you can install it in your basement or in your backyard and not worry about weather conditions for 1 second. And even if the SHTF, you'll still be able to have enough electricity for cooking and preserving your food, while others will beg for a leaf of rotten bread. More and more people are discovering the joyfulness and peace that comes with off-grid electricity. Martin Craig from Austin, Texas said, "My electric bills kept getting bigger and bigger. And for a while I was thinking about paying $15,000 on a solar panel system. Glad I didn't. Your device does the trick, and it cost me a little under $108 to make it." Here's what 71-year-old Andrew Johnson from Colorado says, "I've never built anything in my entire life, yet this was so easy I assembled it with my grandkids. Now we get cheap electricity 24/7. Now you too can join in on this life-saving program. Here's why you need to try the Ultimate Energizer Guide today. Quite frankly, there's never been a better time for a technology like this to emerge. With electricity prices going through the roof and peak oil just around the corner, it's only a matter of time before everyone turns to alternative energy sources. But if you think about it, you'll realize alternative energy never really was an alternative. Just try to go solar without spending 5 figures on a solar panel system. It's impossible. But why even consider such an option when all this time you can pay less than 20% of the energy you're consuming? Plus, why shouldn't you, since it takes less than $208 to have your own power device ready and less than 2 hours? The Ultimate Energizer is incredibly easy to build, even if you don't have a screwdriver in your home. And with our step-by-step instructions, building your own generator is as easy as assembling an IKEA chair. It's also completely weatherproof, and it really makes no difference if it's raining or if it's too hot outside. And because you can use it during the night, You don't need expensive batteries to store your excess electricity. There's no maintenance costs, breakdowns, clouds, bird droppings, and all the stuff you just don't want to be worrying about. In fact, it's probably just as green as solar or wind power systems. Plus, Ultimate Energizer is extremely adaptable and will completely change the way you look at energy. And best of all, it generates electricity day in and day out, so you can slash your bill by 30%, 60%, or even more. Here's how to get the Ultimate Energizer Guide. You need to move fast on this one because we simply don't know for how long this website is going to stay up. The first time people heard about such a device, things turned out really bad for the inventor, and we fear it might happen once again. But still, we want to get this into as many hands as possible. This technology has already changed the face of the modern world, and it can do it one more time. People need to hear about this amazing device so they can break free from big energy and stop paying for electricity that should be available to everyone. So here's the deal. The Ultimate Energizer Guide is available in electronic format for instant download. You could be reading everything in just 5 minutes from now, and you can enjoy real savings in electricity from your own generator in a few short days. You'll save hundreds of dollars each month and thousands each year, and there will be no reason to go solar and fork out at least $20,000 on a solar panel system that pays for itself in 8 long years. And given all of that, how much is it worth to you to literally get green, cheap electricity for good? So I'm not going to ask you to invest $1,000 for this secret, even though I know it's worth at least that. It won't cost you $500 either. The whole reason we're even charging any money for this is only to cover our research and design expenses. Yet the Ultimate Energizer Guide won't cost you $500, not even $250, though they would be worth every penny at this price. I'm going to set the price for the Ultimate Energizer Guide at just $69. But because you're getting here early, if you act right now, I'll let you have the Ultimate Energizer Guide, including the manual, the schematics, the parts list, and all the step-by-step guides for a single payment of only $49.